Alright guys, we have got Wrench Tower Defense Simulator. Update log. Reworked map, Dusty Bridge. Isn't it Dusty Bridges? Did they rename it? Yeah, it's Dusty Bridges. They just didn't care about that. Alright then. Reworked endgame screen. Watch ad for 50 coins, I believe. Awesome. And it shows some more stats and stuff. That's actually pretty nice. And then more new UI and game modifiers coming soon. So this tutorial was improved. Mission quest. Tower targeting was fixed. The polluted wasteland mission, that was annoying. That's finally been fixed. And restart timers, use a ready vote, so that's a lot better. Then we got what looks like an assassin nerf here, which was probably deserved because that thing was pretty good, bro. And then it looks like Commando got a buff, which is interesting actually. Looks like they changed a lot of stuff, so we can go ahead and try that out. And it looks like the engineer also got a buff right here. That is a lot of change. Wow. Yeah, we'll definitely need to go try that out. But I believe mainly what it is just that the engineer herself got more of a buff and it became more buffable, while these sentries kind of became, they're still good, but it's mainly the engineer now that like does most of the work. So it makes her like more consistent and buffable and just stuff like that. And then all the mission quests just became like cheaper because they don't give coins anymore. It's literally every single mission quest, bro. That's funny. But yeah, let's go ahead and try out these towers. So we got the assassin, the commando, and the engineer. Okay, so first off, the assassin. And it looks like the base level 0 is still pretty similar, dealing 2 damage and having a 0.65 fire rate. Like, yeah, we know this is just gonna be pretty good CE because it only costs $200. And then at level 1, the fire rate goes down to 0.5 and it gets 3 damage. So now you're getting 6 DPS for like $450, which is solid. And then at level 2, the fire rate actually goes back up to 0.6, but it gets 12 damage and hidden detection and unlocks the whirlwind slash. But it now only does 6 damage. Yeah, so that couldn't even clear like those right there. But level 2 probably will still be a good like level to spam. I mean, they did do pretty good damage right there. It's not as good as before, but still a pretty cheap and strong tower. Then for level 3, for 2.7k, you get 24 damage, and the whirlwind slash goes up to 18 damage. So level 3 now may be... Okay, level 2 is still going to be better for CE, just because it's very cheap. Like, level 3 costs more to upgrade than levels 1 and 2 combined. You unlock all this stuff here compared to just damage and the whirlwind slash upgrade. So level 2 is still going to be a pretty strong like spam level. But at max for 7.6k we get 7 range, which is still the same I believe. The fire goes back down to 0.5. 40 damage, the fan of knives is unlocked, and then the whirlwind slash gets upgraded damage and upgraded range. So this nerf was basically just to nerf its like cost efficiency and make it not as strong in the early game because it was extremely cheap and could defend extremely well. But it is still going to be a good option. I mean, yeah, the damage is still going to be really strong if you spam these down. But it's not going to be great for the late game. It's still going to be mainly early game focused and pretty similar, and its use will be pretty similar to how it was before. Now let's go to the commando. This is kind of a random tower, but it's cool to see it get a rebalance. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that it costs more to place, actually. $2,350. It used to cost $2,250, so a $100 difference. When it's like this much to place already, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But the damage was actually nerfed from 6 to... Bro, let me close this. The damage was actually nerfed from 6 to 5, which is interesting, but the range was increased and it now has flying detection on level 0. That's really random to be honest, but I don't really hate it. There's not a lot of early flying towers, so it's cool. You know, maybe you could use that hardcore, but it would cost like 3,000 something, so it's not really going to be too efficient. But another thing you'll see here is that it still has the reload, but it no longer fires in bursts actually. So that'll make the commando be able to do its DPS more efficiently. And, you know, It's just better. And then at level 1, the reload time goes from 3 to 2, and it gets a 0.15 fire rate for $935. Not really too crazy value or anything. But then at level 2, you go ahead and get hidden detection, 14.5 range, 8 damage, and it now has 45 ammo. So hidden detection and flying on level 2 is pretty good. But this tower is kind of expensive, you know. You're paying 6.5k for this. But having both these detections and pretty good DPS is actually not that bad. Like, I feel like this could do pretty good against the hidden boss. I mean, yeah, like that's pretty solid, bro. It's just this reload will probably get it here. No, not even. It literally killed it. Like, that's actually pretty solid, bro. And like, looking at this tower's cost efficiency, it is actually like not bad. No, it does. It does still have pierce. Okay. So that is honestly pretty good too. So yeah, this cost efficiency is going to be pretty good. Having that pierce and hidden and flying detection. Honestly, that is pretty solid. But you also unlock these concussive missiles, which deal damage and stun. You also get 15 damage, 16 range, and 0.13 fire rate, all for a total cost of $15,000. But like, this thing could seriously do some work, bruh. The missiles also have a giant range. They're kind of buggy, I guess, but I mean, yeah, those got destroyed, bruh. Like, if you put this up against like 3 hidden bosses, bruh, stun these. And I mean, yeah, those just got wiped. It does cost $15,000, but $15,000 is not too bad a value for this, honestly. It is kind of weird how the missiles all get used at once. Like, it seems like they'd be separate abilities because, you know, they recharge separate like that. So that is kind of odd, but I guess it does make sense. Then at max, we get 17 range, 24 damage. The missiles are now quad instead of double. The reload time goes to 1.25 and 80 ammo. So the DPS will be pretty solid on the output. Like, the DPS output will be pretty solid because the reload time is very low, and 80 ammo is not really that high, but you know, it's not bad. And then the stun time gets upgraded, and the damage, along with, you know, just some stuff on the missile. The cooldown's only 10 seconds instead, and it has a 6 radius instead of 4. Does more damage, stuns more, so it's just a lot better missile in general. And then really cool armor, yeah, okay. So all that, but you are paying a total cost of $33,000 for all that. But I mean, this thing is gonna be doing some pretty good damage. The missiles also can be fired, like they have a giant range, so you can fire them a lot farther out, which is nice. Oh yeah, I forgot they also stay in the ground like that too. I mean, 33,000 for this. Like, what if I put 33,000 in an Excel instead? Okay, this is like the closest I can get, a level 4 and level 2. I mean, Excel is gonna have the range on it, as you can see, 22.5. Excel is not gonna be really the greatest example, but you know, the Commando does have the stun also, which is nice because it does allow it to stall. Something like this, it doesn't have any resistances. It did die a little bit after, but I mean, you know, 33,000 for one of these max is not too expensive. Like, the value on that is pretty good. You are getting both these detections, good DPS, and the missiles that stun. And I do believe this is like an 8 limit. Yep, 8 limit. So if you get all 8 of these, that will add up to be some decent money. But like, they're gonna be doing pretty pretty good on their own. If you use all these missiles, bro. Okay, I kind of just missed a lot, but like, even with me missing a lot, like, they're doing pretty good damage, bro. Like, this one has already done like 4,800 because they do have the pierce as well, you know. Like, if I spawn in some of these and they get hit by all those, I mean, yeah, that's kind of crazy, bro. Like, they pretty much just got spawn killed. So, you know, this is not going to be great in a mode like Fallen, probably, where the towers are going to have a lot of resistances to stun and like explosion stuff like that. But like, in the like in game modes where the pierce can be utilized and the stun and the damage, like this is not too bad actually. That is loud. Alright, now we go to the engineer. So the first funny thing we see here is 600 cost, so you can place this right away. And then at level 1 you're going to be getting 16 range, 1 fire, and 6 damage. It also only costs 8 scrap metal to build a sentry, which is honestly very solid because it's going to be getting those sentries like extremely fast. Like a couple shots on these and it's already got a sentry. Like that's very solid. Like when there's a bunch of enemies spawning now, like this thing will be pretty good in the early game because it'll like constantly have its sentries. Like it was kind of, this is, so yeah, they kind of buffed the engineer tower itself, not the sentries as much in this way, because as you can see here, its damage is a lot better on its own and it's cheaper. 550, and we get flying and hidden, so all 3 detections at level 2, 18 range, which is pretty big, and you get 10 damage when the scrap metal's still only 8. So yeah, you'll literally be having like constant sentries here. A trade-off of it doing more damage itself though is that it doesn't get 2 sentries at level 2 anymore, but I think that's justified for it being able to do this much damage on its own and always having like a constant sentry. But then at level 3 it gets 2 sentries available. The scrap cost does go up to 45, but it's going to be doing 15 damage, so 3 shots and it's got it. That's pretty good. And then we do get the upgraded sentry, of course. So I mean, this thing is going to be doing like pretty solid damage for only 3.7k. I mean, yeah, the engineer seems to have like really good cost efficiency now actually, and it looks like the level 3 is actually pretty cost efficient. I mean, you do get this good sentry and good damage on the engineer for really cheap. But then at level 4 we get 3 units, the shield, 30 damage, 20 range, and 0.75 fire rate. So level 4 Engie will be pretty strong for only 8.5k. And it still only has a scrap metal of 45. So in 2 shots, it'll be getting its sentries. It also fires like really fast, 0.75. I mean, look at how fast it's getting these sentries built up. And it's like dead. Like a level 4 like this cheap might like be able to take something like a fallen giant down, which is 4,000 health. That's kind of crazy, like the value of that. Okay, I might have got ahead of myself there, but like that is pretty solid damage, bro, for just one of these. Like engineer could probably just be viable through most of the game now. More than half of its health gone. It's pretty good. Then at level 5 for 13,500, which is more cheap too, I think. It gets 60 damage, which is more. The scrap cost does go up to 180, but it's still going to be 3 shots. And we get the upgraded sentry, which has hidden detection and does a lot more DPS than before. So if that last one got that close to killing it, then this one definitely will be able to kill this. I mean, the engineer itself is doing so much damage here. So this is why, like, when it has this higher damage itself now, it'll actually get more buffed from supports than it did before. Because before, the engineer, most of the engineer's DPS was from sentries, which it still is, but now it does a lot more damage, like, from itself. Yeah, as you can see, this is going to die pretty easily here. Then at max, we get 0.6 fire rate and 85 damage, which is going to be doing a lot of DPS on the engineer itself. 22.5 range, which is pretty strong. 340 scrap cost, but that's only going to be like a couple shots to get it still. And then we get the explosive sentries, which I've heard have a lot of range now. So I guess we'll have to find that out. I mean, yeah, look how fast it's charging up that scrap still. I mean, it doesn't seem that crazy from before, but it's pretty good. Like, it is, the explosions itself is dealing pretty significant damage to all of these, actually. Yeah, it actually didn't end up killing all those, which is really good. And it only costs 57,000 to max now, which I believe it was definitely more expensive before. I mean, one of these could probably, like, solo this, bro. Okay, yeah, that could definitely solo this. It's nice that it does get a lot more buffed from supports. Like, I could genuinely probably compare this with supports to a tower like Excel. Especially since Excel doesn't get buffed as much by supports anymore too, due to the new kind of like high damage, low attack time that it has. So let me just do a comparison. Yeah, the engineer itself here is doing 119 damage, which that's a lot, bro. And 0.42 fire rate, like the engineer itself is gonna be doing a lot of DPS right there. Like that's kind of insane, bro. But enough talking. Let's see how it performs though. Gonna uber charge, of course. There is field medics, don't mind that. But I mean, before it's even got the sentries down, like that is pretty good DPS. But once those sentries are going, that is pretty solid, I will say, bro. It's charging up it with the overcharge too. That's insane. It's charging up its turrets so fast. The engineer still will shine without supports, obviously. But like, if you do use it with supports now, it'll be more buffed, which is just good, you know, because supports are extremely strong in this game. So you want them to work well with like your towers. And it's kind of a reason that engineer wasn't very used before. I mean, okay, so we might have just died to those, hypothetically. But like, under 30,000 damage, that is pretty good, bro. Okay, yeah, so obviously the Excel is going to be doing a lot more damage. But, you know, it does have its flaws. The targeting, obviously, and it's very short fire rate. And it's very short firing time. It is also more susceptible to stuns, obviously, as you can see. Which the engineer is also more susceptible to stuns now. But it'll still obviously be less susceptible than a tower like Excel. So yeah, the Excel also does have the range on the engineer. The edge, obviously, I mean 28 range. But that was like not even that much of a difference. Just for like a pure tower trying to kill a boss like that, the engineer has became a lot better than it was in the past. So which rebalance would I say is my favorite? It probably is the engineer, because I do like using the engineer. I think it's a fun tower to use. And these other towers, I don't know, they're not my type. But they're all good rebalances in my opinion. And I do like to see, you know, kind of forgotten towers like the Commando getting some changes. So I hope that they continue to go more in this direction. But let me know which rebalances are your guys' favorite. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like and subscribe.